What up, everybody? It's your boy PTK BLAM back on another beautiful, beautiful Saturday afternoon for the Shop Podcast, episode 31. Got some of my great, great, great friends and fellow gamers here. I know we were on hiatus last week. I had some personal stuff I had to deal with. Just took a week off, but we're back to talk about some great, great gaming topics and great gaming news. Got some good guys with me here. The live chat will be live, so you guys throw all your questions in there. You guys kind of know at this point how I run the show and how we do it here on the Shop Podcast. So just FYI, I do have another guest on his way in, so he will be here momentarily. We're just gonna go ahead and get the ball rolling. He'll jump in as soon as he gets there. So I want to give a special shout out before I go get into my panel. I want to give a special shout out to She Wolf. She keeps us everybody intact, keeps everybody on time, keeps a lot of the fans informed. She doesn't have to do that, but she does it anyway. I really, really appreciate the fact that she does that. Give a huge shout out to Mooch, Tim Dog, a lot of other people in the Xbox community. Of course, GKB and Predator here too. You guys inspire me. I really appreciate you guys' friendship and support. Kind of keeps me going with this whole YouTube thing. So I really appreciate that. So let's go ahead and just dive into the panel. Let everybody go ahead and let everybody know where they can find them and just go around it. These guys are familiar, but let's go ahead and start with you, GKB.
Oh, what's up, everybody? It's GKB, a tired governor, a tired professor. I was pulling like a real late night at work. I didn't get in until like 6 this morning, so kind of a little wore out, but I'm ready to talk some gaming with my bros here, so let's go.
For sure. Appreciate you coming too, man. You're gonna have to pop that monster and put that thing down. That's something, man. I've been there, brother, so I understand where you're coming from. So my other friend here, other gaming friend and real life friend, Predator, go ahead and shout out yourself, brother.
Hey man, you guys know me as Predator H2OS. You can catch me in everybody else's chat. Catch me right here on the Shop Podcast on Saturdays. And I appreciate all the love I've gotten so far since I started this YouTube thing. And I'm happy the GKB and She Wolf and PTK gave me a chance to get on their podcast too. So thanks everybody for showing up today.
For sure. Appreciate it, man. Looks like our third panel guest has stepped in. I don't know if his mic is ready yet, but let me know if you're ready or not, Bruto. Oh, there you go. So yeah, everybody, this is our guest for today. He's gonna be a regular on the show pretty much. So you guys aren't even gonna be able to look at him as a guest anymore. But go ahead and shout out yourself, Bruto.
Yo, man. First off, I'm sorry for being late, guys. I was trying to get here as fast as I could. Had a little bit of had a little bit of shit to deal with before I got here. But what's up, everybody? I'm happy to be here, ready to talk some games.
Yeah.
For sure, man. Let's dive right into it, man. I got a lot of questions now. Everybody, you're not gonna hear the typical shit. I'm kind of E3s came and gone. I kind of went over should we just talk about E3 in my head, but then I thought about it and was like, nah, we're gonna do something a little bit different. You guys know me, so let's go ahead and just dive right in. So the first thing I want to talk about is that since we know a lot of the games that are coming out in 2016, a lot of us on any console we're looking forward to these games, but what's the one you think you're going to put the most time in during 2016? So let's go ahead and start with you, Bruto. The most time in. It could be a multiplayer exclusive. It doesn't matter. Indie.
Most time. Well, as it stands right now, man, I'd like to tell myself that I'm going to put a lot of time into Battlefield 1 because I'm super hype about it. But I got to keep myself in check because I know that I haven't played a lot of Battlefield 1 in the past, but this game, this hype about this game has just got me hooked, man. I don't know what it is about it. I don't know if it's the World War One aspect of it or just the scale of the game, but I would like to put a lot of time into Battlefield 1 this year.
For sure. Okay. So Battlefield, you think more campaign, more multiplayer Battlefield 1, or?
I'd really like to get myself to the point where I'm in that upper echelon of playing on the multiplayer scene. Like I dumped a ton of time into Halo. There hasn't been a real game that I've just there's so many games coming out, and like I mean I'm sure you guys can relate, like the social media side of it, like trying to upkeep your social media side, like unfortunately it takes away from the time that you can really dedicate to one game. And you try to provide like content to fans and viewers and stuff like that. So you gotta kind of span across everything. But I really want to try to buckle down and devote that kind of time to one game to where I can be great at a game again.
Yeah.
versus
Yeah, I feel
average
you.
across the
That
board.
is
You know
kind
what I'm
of
saying?
yeah. You kind of spread yourself thin. That is kind of a dilemma. That's one of the I don't want to say downside, but that is part of doing YouTube and being really really active on Twitter because you kind of want to play everything. Because you get on Twitter, you hear about all these different games, so kind of spread your thing. You don't really get a chance to be really really good at one game. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
Like
right.
you may be good at multiple games, but you don't really take that time to spend that you would before. So go ahead, Predator. What about you, man? One game you think you're gonna spend the most time in 2016 playing?
When we talked about this, I was like, man, what am I gonna play next year? But I already know it's gonna be Battlefield 1. I put a lot of hours into Battlefield 4. I'm part of the community test environment for that game. So, and I put a lot of time in it in the past. I played the betas. I played it on the 360. I played it on the Xbox One. So I know I'm gonna put a lot of time into the next version. So I mean, that's hands down. I mean, that's gonna be my money maker right there.
Okay, no Ghost Recon.
I'm gonna play that game. I mean, I love it to death, but there's just certain elements of Ghost Recon that because I can't find like a good group of gamers for that game. But if it's a four-person game, I have to see what the multiplayer is going to be like. But I already know that because I'm so involved in Battlefield so far this generation and Ghost Recon, like I didn't really get into the multiplayer of that game when it was on the 360 as much as I thought I was going to because it kind of shifted gears on me. But I will put some time in that game. But I think for the most part, I'm going to put a lot more time in Battlefield 1.
Okay, that was actually surprising. I just knew you were gonna go right off the
I
rip.
thought
Like
the same
Ghost
thing, man.
Recon right away. But that's actually pretty damn surprising. So it's on to you, GKB. What you gonna play the most, brother? I got kind of an idea, but
Yeah,
but
man. When everybody was going there, man, I was just thinking, man, like, what am I gonna put my time in? Like, Brutal made some really good points about, like, we're content creators. It's kind of hard to stick with one game since, we do content for everybody like that. But also, if you think about like this holiday and everything, there's so many games coming out, like, and some big games that are coming out as well. And my sentiment's kind of like everyone else, where I really want to say I'm going to play Battlefield 1, but to be honest, to the viewers and myself, I've never been a big like Battlefield guy. I'm more of a COD guy. So to be honest with you, I'm probably going to spend most of my time on Titanfall as soon as that drops, man. I'll probably be on that for like who knows, probably until I max out like all the prestiges or whatever. And then probably switch into like because I'm a big South Park. The first one, I love this first one, and the Fractured Butthole one sounds like really awesome. So I'll probably get into that a lot.
Good call,
good
GKB.
call.
Yeah.
That game.
Yeah,
definitely
that completely skipped my mind, bro. I'm
Stick of
definitely
Truth.
gonna be putting some time on that.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
Stick
man,
of Truth was a classic, man. Stick of Truth was a great game, man.
for sure, man.
Hella
And like,
funny, hella fun, yeah.
and with like the community game time being so popular now, man, like Saturdays are gonna be like, man, we're gonna be playing probably like Forza 3, Battlefield, Titanfall, all these great games coming out, man. So I'm gonna have to like figure out something here, to be honest.
And there's
What's
a
it
lot
like?
of
64-player multiplayer on Battlefield 1? Come on, man, that's like the
It's
perfect
crazy.
game.
Yeah, I know it's like the perfect.
That's
For-
insane. Yeah,
Bro,
that's crazy.
All-Star Gamer in the chat just reminded me. I don't know why this skipped my mind, but I've been talking up Mafia 3 like
Oh,
crazy,
yes.
man. Like
I was
I am
just gonna
hyped
mention-
for that game,
I
dude.
was just gonna mention that. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I was just gonna mention that too. You took the word right out of my head. Just talking about that yesterday. Okay. Well, I guess it's my turn. And so me, oh man, Titanfall 2 is definitely a good pick. We played the other night. Was it last week? GKB, I think we played Titanfall. Or no, that was actually a couple days ago with Matt.
Yeah,
We actually played,
Thursday.
and it was incredibly fun. We played like just private matches, I think it was. We had enough people to play a bunch of private matches, and it was incredibly fun. So 2 is looking crazy.
Oh, real quick, Blam.
Yeah.
Big shout out to the community, man. Like every time we post, hey, come play with us. We were helping out. Asthmatic doing his like community game time too, man. And the support is overwhelming as always. We really love you guys, and we thank you very much for that.
For sure. Yeah, you guys are doing a great job with that, man. And if you guys don't know, GKB, She-Wolf, Asthmatic also too. They got GKB and She-Wolf. I know theirs are usually after my podcast, probably like an hour after my podcast on Saturdays. Matt's are usually kind of random, I believe, but he posts his on YouTube, and if you follow Asthmatic 117 on Twitter, you'll see him post up when he's doing his game nights also too. A lot of fun. He plays a bunch of different stuff, so you guys check him out also too. So, yeah. So Titanfall 2 is probably gonna be what I'm playing the most, as far as like a multi-plat. Mafia 3 is definitely very interesting. I didn't play much of Mafia at all, honestly. I'll be honest with you guys, but
Yeah,
I'm
same
very,
here,
very
man.
interested.
Yeah, I didn't either. So that's
Yeah,
on.
due to like the scenery and the characters, and
The main
it
character
just looks
looks,
crazy.
oh, it's like perfect, man. Like,
Yeah, it looks crazy. So that's something I definitely gonna play a lot of too. That do we know if CFDs is still this year or not?
I believe it got pushed back, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it got pushed back as well.
Oh, okay. All
The
right. Well,
beta's
I
this
mean,
year, but
the beta this year. Okay. So if once the beta comes out, I'll be playing a shit ton of that too. If it's
yeah.
this year, so I'll definitely be playing
Hear
a lot
good
of
things
that.
about that game, man.
I've heard awesome things about it too. So the water, man, Jesus Christ. Anyway,
Oh, man.
yeah, that water looks fucking insane. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. That was a good one, man. So don't forget, you guys. So I'm not only asking them this question, I'm asking you guys this question in the chat too. So feel free to throw your answers in the chat, and we're still gonna take a couple questions at the end of the show today too. So feel free to put your questions on there. We'll skim through there when we get done and just find a couple before we head out of here. So next question I have is, are open world high bid games becoming kind of common, or are they going to become like this trendy thing? Because we see how popular they are with Destiny. Hate it or love it, Destiny is still widely popular, hugely popular with a lot of people, and the Division also too. So I know the biggest like drawback of these games is usually content or lack thereof of content. But do you guys see this becoming like a trend in the near future where we're going to get this hybrid, one game made from like six other games, six other elements from different games? Let's go ahead and start with you, GKB. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I honestly think, yeah, that's going to be kind of like the norm going forward. And it's kind of like good or bad. Like a lot of these games, they come out, they start really strong, and then they kind of peter off with content, like with Destiny, like with the Division and like that as well. And that's my hope is like they need to like pick certain games that actually will work well with this. And you see like a lot of games that kind of normally wouldn't have that kind of structure to it, but they do it anyways, and it kind of falls flat. So I don't know. I think it has to really fit the game for me.
Yeah. Okay, cool. No problem. Yeah, because that makes sense. Content is the biggest issue I have with the games. It's because, just like you said, GKB, it usually tapers off. You get that big push right away, and everybody's all ultra excited, then it kind of tapers off. I think Destiny set a bad precedence when it came to like DLC for these types of games and like how that's supposed to work, because the only way the game is going to grow and people are going to continue to play it if you're consistently providing this DLC and content, and that's been kind of a struggle with these types of games that we've seen thus far this generation.
I think a lot of times too, man. They like, I think like when they're developing the game, they're like, you know what, we have all this content and it sounds like a lot of content, but then when it gets out into our hands, like I don't know, gamers like we just blow through this stuff like nothing, and I think they struggle in like keeping up with that demand. And I don't know like what policies or procedures they have in place to keep up with that demand, or if they even can at this point. Like, we're just really ravenous like gamers these days.
Well, I mean, on one hand you can say that, but then you look at a game like Witcher 3, where it's the DLC. It's not even that type of game, but it's big enough to be that type of game if it really wanted to be. So they're constantly pumping out massive amounts of content. I don't know if it's just the way CD Projekt Red works, but I mean.
Well, I think that's like where it's kind of like where it like fits the game, like where The Witcher is very like story driven and like single player focused, but like when you start getting into those like massive multiplayer ones, it's really hard to like develop and give that kind of content, because you can roll with like 4 people and just blow through content like really fast.
Yeah, I think going along with what you guys were saying, like it's hard to balance providing both content and providing that massive multiplayer experience, because there's a ton of upkeep, there's a ton of maintenance that goes into maintaining what they've already put out, and then providing that content on top of that. Like with those story-driven single-player type games like The Witcher that we're using for an example, they don't have to worry about that other aspect of maintaining all that, so they can dedicate themselves to creating DLC, to creating just pure content for the player. And like what GKB was saying is and he said I had the word ravenous in my head I was gonna put out when I started talking, but like the fan base we're ravenous, man. I mean, everybody's
Yeah.
wanting to come out. Everybody wants that content. We jump on it. We blow through it. And GKB and I have this conversation all the time about a lot of people jump into this game, they put it on easy mode, blow through it, and then they're like, that content was so short. I beat it in like the first couple of days. Like GKB and I, we both talk about how like we like to play the game on hard mode, grind through it, suffer through it, but then you get that experience and you get so much more satisfaction once you get done with it. So like it's partially on the gamer themselves. It's their responsibility to embrace the game and play the game and experience it as a whole rather than just as a quick flash experience.
Yeah, if like go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think that's like another thing too. Like gamers are very getting used to like that whole like normal mode or playing even sometimes on easy mode just to get through the content, because maybe sometimes we don't have like enough time to do that stuff. But I urge gamers to like, why don't you go ahead and challenge yourself? Why don't you go ahead and try playing it on a harder mode? Is that way you don't blow through it as fast and you get that like satisfaction like Brutal was saying at the end there.
Yeah, go run a lasso achievement in Halo and then come back.
That's crazy. But I completely agree with you guys. And on the other hand, there's another factor. You got to think about how big YouTube plays in it. There's so many Let's Play and walkthrough channels that we're a little bit older. So we didn't have any Let's Plays and walkthroughs unless we wanted to go buy a $20 book and read through it and then pause the game, read, okay, I'll do this, start the game back up, do this. So that's kind of how grinding, different things like that. I'm not saying that the new generation doesn't, because we're not that much older than the new generation, but we kind of grew up with that aspect. If you see YouTube now, these walkthroughs and Let's Plays, I mean, this kid can literally turn on YouTube on his laptop phone and just have somebody walk him through the game no matter what mode it's on. And, you have the little tips and tricks and things like that. So that's another element that you have to take into account, too, when you're talking about, blowing through content. Because a lot of times people, they'll buy a game, like Destiny, for instance, kind of the games we're talking about, or Division. They'll show you how to specifically grind for a specific piece of gear. Like, it doesn't even, it's so, like, down to the T. Like, okay, you do this just for this. Okay, I got this now. I'm good. I'm not doing anything else. I got this gun that I want.
Well, that,
what I'm saying? So,
yeah, I mean, developers it's not really the developers as much as it is the fan base. Like, once you get the game out and, like, the meta of the game is figured out, it strips everything. Like, it's hard for developers to create, there's a lot of stuff like Diablo, for example. There's a meta to that game to where it strips 80% of the game away. It makes it irrelevant. So everybody's grinding for that cookie cutter build, the right weapon, like you were talking about, that piece of gear. So the rest of the content is irrelevant because everybody's going for that all-star meta to be the best in the game or the best that they can be. So it's a catch-22, really. I mean, you make great pieces, but you can't make the whole game great. I mean, as far as like elite pieces of gear, whatever, as far as you were saying.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I'm just saying, like, just that aspect of, like a younger generation having that access to be able to, like you said, kind of you and GKB were saying, blow through content and go through the game and look for specific things that they want and find out even before they even get the game.
I know, dude. I remember I dropped like $20 on that on the Ocarina of Time guide because I couldn't figure out the water temple to save my fucking life.
That's satisfying, though. That was your last resort, is what I'm saying, it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
You tried and you could not, to the point where you begged, or I don't know if you were old enough, maybe you went out and bought it yourself. You went out and bought the strategy guide, like this, like, I'm tired of this. I'm not going to sit up here and subject myself to this. This water temple's killing me. But, nowadays it's just easy as a YouTube video before the game even comes out. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes. So, yeah, but Fred, go ahead, brother. What do you think about these types of games, Division, Destiny? You think it's going to become like a trend?
I didn't play Destiny that much, and I didn't get into that kind of style of game until the Division came out. And in playing the Division, I play the Division daily, and I'm not grinding in the Dark Zone or anything like that all the time. And I just I do the daily missions, and that's pretty much it for me. But like, it's one of the problems I've seen with developers so far with that game specifically, I don't know if they do this in Destiny or not, but with the Division, they nerf everything. Like you go in there and you create this awesome build, and like they have the 1.3 update coming out on
Hmm.
Tuesday, I believe. You get this awesome build that you like. You have this, this good gear set that you enjoy playing with, and they come back and they nerf it to the point where it's useless, and you have to go back and regrind all over again. So I do think like some games are gonna start going that route, but it has to be the right game. It has to be like they have
Hmm.
to have a really well laid out plan of action, how they're going to implement what they're going to do from each step. Now, the division came out and they said, okay, we're going to come up with this update, this update, this update, an incursion here and there. But every time they come up with something for the fans to play, to get them back interested in it, it ends up being fucked up.
Yeah,
It fucks
broken.
something else up in the game. It either fucks up
Yeah.
your gear set, it fucks up your stats, something. So it's like, so I do think we're gonna start seeing more games like this, but the problem is you're gonna lose the fan base quickly. Just like you guys were saying, as soon as it comes out, people are just gonna rush through, get the best gear they possibly can, do what they can in the game, and then they're gonna sit back for a couple of weeks until the next update comes out. I mean, I can't see stats right now, but I guarantee you, every time an incursion comes out, it spikes up in play, and then it just dwindles off again. You know,
Yeah.
and the same thing is going to happen with this 1.3 update and these deals. I mean, I know some people who are not going to buy the DLC for the game because they already know what they're going to get out of it. You're going to grind and grind and grind, and then you're going to be bored after about a week of playing it. So, the problem is they have to keep people interested in the game, and that's been the problem so far.
Yeah.
And the other thing, like with Destiny, like the price of the game. I mean, you get the $60 game, and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the people who bought all the DLC when the Wolf, I forgot what it's called. Someone help me out here. Um,
Um. The
The
shit.
iron.
I can't. No, I
you know what
can't.
I'm talking about, though. I
Yeah, I
forgot the
know.
Wolf's Den or whatever the hell it was called.
Yeah.
When that DLC came out, you could actually buy the entire game with the DLC, but the people who purchased the game had to buy that separately. Is that correct? I mean, someone in the chat or
Yeah.
someone who's
Well, I
kind of.
bought I bought the season pass, and it did,
Uh,
there was like which one? The one of them didn't come in the season pass. The big one. That was
yeah.
like the
Was it the
last one.
Taken
It didn't
King?
come. Taken King didn't
Taken
come
King,
in the
that's the
season
one I'm
pass.
thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. So you get the two before, the two small ones, the dark below, and there was another one after that. But
Yeah.
the Tekken King didn't come, so you spent another $15 to get the Tekken King.
Yeah. So I didn't buy the Division until the Taken King came out,
You
and I
mean
got.
Destiny?
I'm sorry, Destiny. Yes.
Yeah.
And I got everything with it when I bought it. And I'm like, man, these other people bought this, had to buy this shit separately. But I mean, I think the issue with that kind of format, as far as gaming goes, is the price, the DLC, making it interesting, and just keeping up. Like I think GKB said this, you have to keep up with the demand of the gamers, and they can't consistently do that
Yeah.
because like
That's
they have
pretty
to
good.
go back and get everything certified and stuff like that. But like I read these Reddit posts and stuff like that, and it's like everyone, it seems like they're really unhappy with the game post patch. They ask for all this shit and then they get something, but then they're still unhappy with it. So it's like you can never please the fans,
Yeah,
you
you're
know?
not gonna be able to.
Yeah.
That's tough, man. It's tough on
But
developers.
like, just a
Yeah.
question real quick for everybody here and even people in the panel. Like, okay, what game would you like to see take this format that's already out or been out now
Hmm.
Uh,
that you think would actually be successful? Like, I'm going to answer it first. Maybe this will help you guys with an idea. I think Assassin's Creed would be great for this kind of format.
I agree. I
It's
thought that would be
yeah, I
cool.
agree. I agree. I agree. Yeah, Assassin's Creed would be really cool in the
You can
open
get
world
missions, assassin missions, and
missions.
stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah, it would.
but not as deep as like Destiny and and the Division, but like just maybe some small aspects of that kind of format.
It would work. I think that would work.
it's
Uh,
interesting.
yeah. Anybody else want to answer that before we move on to the next question? Anybody can think of anything else?
I mean, I think I agree too. Like Assassin's Creed would be really cool to do that type of thing, but I would like to see like if they did it with like Assassin's Creed, do more of like a World of Warcraft model where they have like these big expansions coming out just to add like huge content to the game,
Yeah.
and not the smaller ones that we see in like Destiny and Division at this point.
Mhm.
But to speaking of like what Predator had some really good points, like devs like have this plan laid out. And to any devs or anybody that like possibly listen to this at some point, take that plan and probably times it by like 2, maybe even 4, to give us enough content to to even last like a year at this point. Like we said before, like multiple times, we just burn through it so fast. So
yeah, and it's hard, and we're not griping on the devs because they have a really tough job.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't know what all of us. We complain so much as gamers, it's not even funny. They have to take all of that into consideration.
Well, that and budget and everything else they got to do.
Budget and all of that stuff. There's technicalities and things that they have to consider too. But we're just speaking on kind of generalities here.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna have a plan, you may want to multiply that, like you said, by 3 or 4. That's probably where you end up at.
I think that like not only adding content, just like GKB was saying, is adding like a massive patch or like a massive expansion, but adding something that once you get through that, like I hate to keep going back to Diablo, but I had literally like thousands and thousands of hours on PC Diablo, and they've done a really good job, because when Diablo 3 first launched, that game was absolute shit. I mean, it sucked. Like, people were hating it, but the devs at Blizzard have done such a good job with recreating and rebranding Diablo 3 and adding replay value, and not only their expansion, but they've added this seasons element to it, to where there's a season that updates every month or 2, and it completely revamps all the builds, all the gear you have, and it adds replay factor to it. So what Pred was saying about them nerfing gear and whatnot, that sucks to a point when you get that gear, but at the same time, when you get to that point when you're in game, you're max geared, you have nothing to do, it's refreshing for them to come back, and essentially Diablo takes all that gear that nobody was using, or all those sets that nobody was using, and completely restructures everything to the point where that's what everybody wants now. So it adds replayability to the game, and it's not as drastic as creating an entirely new expansion for the game. So I think that's something that console devs could look into applying to their games, to where it's not as intrusive to build an entirely new expansion, but it also gives the players that like that game a lot more replay factor to it. So
good point. That's a good point. Good point. So yes, it sounds like more fluid idea. Just kind of take what you got and just remold it. It's kind of what you're saying. That's what it sounds.
I mean, just go get the stuff that you never paid attention to before, and it gives a whole other aspect to the game again. So it's just kind of rebooting it again.
Good point. Good point. All right. Good topic, fellas. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. So we were talking before the show started, and these guys, well, most of these guys know here that I'm a huge Zelda fan. So I'm a gigantic Zelda fan, and I've been thirsty for a new Zelda game. Super thirsty, like ultra Aquafina thirsty. So, so I want to ask the panel and everybody here in the chat, also too listening, is the new Zelda enough to get you to purchase a NX? Now I'm gonna answer this first, and I'll go ahead and let you guys go. For me in particular, I don't own a Wii U. I've been like literally, I picked it up, put it in my, like, I've had them get it out the glass and take it to the counter, and then I literally walked up to it like, at the end of shopping, like, never mind, just put it back. I've been that close to getting a Wii U like numerous times, but I know with the new Zelda, the NX, we still don't know much about the console, what it's gonna do, how it's gonna look, how it's gonna play, how it's gonna work. But I'm such a huge Zelda fan that I think that if this Zelda is working out the way it's huge, it's expansive. I'm not sure about the whole dialogue, if they have it or not at this point. But just the way the world looks, I'm all in on the new Zelda. So I think it's just maybe due to me being such a Zelda fanboy, but I want to ask you guys and get your opinion. So we'll start with the Predator on this one.
Oh, man. If I have money to blow, I would probably do it. I mean, but I just find it really hard to buy a system just for one game. I don't. And as nice as Zelda looks, and as much as I really would love to play that, if it comes out, and I think me and you were talking about this earlier, BLAM, like, if it comes out on the Wii U and the Wii U prices drop, I will probably pick it up on the Wii U before I buy an NX for it. But
interesting.
just because I want to play it, But I don't.
Yeah.
I'd find it really difficult to go drop $300 to get just one game. I would have to see like what Nintendo's plans are for the future and what else I'm going to play, because if I knew they were going to have, if I had confidence in this system actually lasting like this whole, I just don't have confidence in the NX right now because I haven't seen it and I don't know what the fuck it's going to do. But like if I had a sense going in there, like if I spent $300 on this system and I knew I was going to get Zelda, I knew I was going to get Metroid, I knew I was going to get Mario, I knew I was going to get some games I was actually interested in playing.
You gonna get Mario.
Oh yeah, I would get it. So I mean, but that's just 2, maybe 3 games I'm gonna buy right off the top.
Yeah.
They have to bring back like Kid Icarus and those type of games like that. But I just like the same reason I haven't gotten a PlayStation yet is the same reason I probably won't get an NX, because there's not a lot of games that I want to play on it. It's gonna make me go fork over $400, $500 on a system just to play 4 or 5 games. I mean, I just can't do it. And the conversation we have all the time is like, man, I would love to see Nintendo succeed, but like I kind of want to see them fail. So maybe they take the Sega route so I can get those games on the Xbox.
I think we all have that too. We talked about the podcast ago.
Yeah, but I mean, man, and if you ask me today, I'll say no. If you ask me in a year, I may change my mind.
Interesting.
Okay. Good point. So it's on you, GKB.
Predator made a really good point there. Is like, I guess it's all into the gamer. Like, if there's like a couple of games, then yeah, it might be worthwhile to you. But for me, it's not. Like, I need more than that. Like, I don't know if it's just like I've matured as a gamer or whatnot, but I look at these days like the whole ecosystem as a whole. Like, how much is it going to give me for, the money I'm putting into it and all that kind of stuff. And, that's kind of why I'm an Xbox guy, is because they just offer so much, for your money. And at this point, like, if it's just Zelda, no, man, I'm just not on board. And I'm a big Zelda guy too. I'm a big Mario guy. I love all the Marios. I had a Wii U. But yeah, at this point, there's just nothing to justify me going ahead and getting that at this point. Like Predator said, there's, it's really the unknown at this point, and when they show it, it could be awesome. I mean, we hear some, awesome talks from like third parties that are like going to support the NX, so that's really good news. But yeah, like as Predator said, like right now, no.
Okay, good point, fair point. I kind of want to restate what I said. Now, I am like I said, I'm a huge Zelda fan. So I kind of was just speaking from the point to where that I don't know, like that game to me is like my all-time favorite game is Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Mm-hmm.
On any console, even over Halo, even over Halo, yeah. So even over Halo, man. So I want that feeling again. So I'm speaking from my heart, and it's broken because I've been let down by Nintendo.
Let me ask you this, Blam. Like,
yeah,
we've talked about Zelda a few times, and for me, like I said, I don't know if it's because like we've matured as gamers or not, but I would really like to see like a more adult version of Zelda.
Yeah.
Maybe like CD Projekt Red or somebody doing like a Zelda game.
Oh my God! Don't even.
That would be fucking awesome.
Oh my God! Don't even.
That's kind of where I want to see it to go, but.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo. It's the policy. Yeah. They're just kind of stuck with their mind. The mind share at Nintendo is kind of in that 9-year-old to 15-year-old range. I don't know why that may be the case, but it's worked for them. But things do change, and I get the point that you made about the entire ecosystem and not just the console itself. When you start looking at Nintendo as an ecosystem, yeah, they do make high quality games, great games. Great family games, kid games also too. But when you start thinking about the entire package, you're getting kind of skimped. Just like getting a Happy Meal with no fries, no toy,
right, exactly.
Sound like a moochism.
Shout out to Mooch if you're listening too. I know he just you me, man. I know you're drinking that vino, brother. But yeah, it's just kind of it's one of those situations where the infrastructure's not there. They don't really seem to care too much about multiplayer or online. Co-op type situation. There's nothing there yet that we know that's in place. We still don't know whether or not they're going to get that third-party support. That's still all speculation. Some say, well, like EA said not too long ago, well, we'll see. So it's kind of like, goddamn, we don't know. So it's just that was more of me speaking from my heart because I love Zelda so much that I really really want this game to be good, and I really really want a reason to buy a Nintendo product, and I haven't had one in so long. I bought the original Nintendo, the Wii, for my
Mhm.
kids for just like the game that came with it. The
To be
Wii
fair
Fit
too,
and stuff
Blam,
like
like
that. So
the gameplay they showed at E3 was like some of the best we've seen in a long time from a Zelda game. Like I was
Yeah.
really super hyped for that. But just like like we said, just for your question in general, like no, but I could definitely see it changing here.
yeah.
Months to come.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, it's just that's just me speaking because I love Zelda so much, man, and I'd still be even after saying all that, I'd still be kind of hard pressed. I'd be 50-50. It just like you said, like you guys said, it depends on what else is there also too when the system drops. But go ahead, Brutal. What's your opinion, man? You looking at Zelda? That may be enough, or maybe not.
To be honest with you, no, man. Like I haven't even the thought of buying a Wii U hasn't even crossed my mind, dude. Like Nintendo, in my opinion, is good for when I'm like 15 beers deep with my buddies and I want to play like some like Wii bowling, maybe. But I just don't. I don't like. I don't. Nintendo just doesn't appeal to me anymore, man. Like
Hmm.
there's they put out party games that are some so. Like I was a big Mario Party fan back when it was on 64. Like I loved that game back then. But I was also a lot younger when that game first came out. In my opinion, Nintendo hasn't matured with its audience. And now like back to what you guys are saying, like Zelda's like target audience is what like that younger crowd. And I had to go change my pants when you guys said that like a more adult version of Zelda because that shit would be so awesome, dude. Like I can't even tell you how bad I would love to see like a darker, like grittier Zelda. Would just be
Oh my
amazing.
God, it'd be
But to
crazy.
answer your yeah, man, but like to answer your question, man, no, like I can't justify buying a Wii or an X for Zelda. I just it doesn't make any sense to me. There's no
We lose Bear.
You lose him? Uh oh. Oh man, may have lost him there.
Well,
Uh,
I guess he was saying there's really
yeah,
no reason to buy. Now, I do love some Zelda. I love me some Mario, and I love me some
yeah.
Mario Kart. So that might, if I see those games, if they all came out the same year, yeah, I could probably, think about it like really, really hard about getting an NX. But
Yeah.
they say pictures say 1,000 words. You guys see that picture from, I guess Reggie when he's looking at the Xbox One,
The
staring
slim.
at it.
I
He's just
didn't see
like
it. I
Yeah.
didn't see it.
He was like,
he's
oh
got this like oh fuck look on his face. Like,
yeah.
damn, we need to rethink this. That image right there, just put a
Is it from this year's E3 or something?
yeah.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
looking at the slim in the glass case, and he's just like looking at it, kind of with his head tilted a little bit. And he's like,
Wow. I didn't see. Somebody DM me or tweet me that picture. I haven't seen it. Somebody in the comment section or the chat DM me that picture or send me the picture. I haven't
Yo, can
seen
you guys
it.
hear me now?
yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
got
yeah,
you.
yeah. You cut out for a bit there. Yeah.
Yo, shout out to Bright House in Florida. You can go fuck yourself for this shitty internet that I have.
Oh man.
Oh
Like
man, but yeah,
100 megabytes my ass. Like,
yeah.
what's the last thing you guys heard me say?
Oh, just we kind of Predator kind of finished it off. It's pretty much summed it up. Like there's not enough reason for you to purchase that
Yeah.
at this current point. And just honestly, we don't know anything about the system at all.
Yeah.
No,
Like
no. I mean,
we're going
watch
on a blind
Nintendo be.
date. So yeah,
Nintendo's just sleeping on everybody, and they're not putting any time into PR, and they're gonna come out and just crush it. They're gonna crush Scorpio. They're gonna crush the Neo. They're just gonna be like, "What's up? We're back on the scene." And they're gonna take the whole market back.
I mean,
Well,
I think
there's
that's what a lot of people
rumors
want
that
to.
it's going to be more
Uh,
about as powerful as a PlayStation.
You.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't see
Yeah.
that happening. I was being completely facetious, but it's
Well, I mean, that's a
everybody
good
can
point,
dream,
too.
right?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point too, Brutal. Is like if they're on the same track as like they've always been, they have like their market that they want to make their games for and stuff like
yeah,
that. I don't think it's going to be that powerful then because they really don't need to at that point because they're just going to
yeah.
keep making the younger kid games.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a good point. Even if you look at the new Zelda, it's not like graphically pushing any boundaries or anything like that. Like it's not nothing that. It's a
Mhm.
beautiful game, the pastel colors and the art style, but it's not Quantum Break or anything like even close to that level as far as like
Right.
fidelity. To where it's gonna push a system like, oh my god, it may push a Wii U, but it's not going to push like an Xbox One S or a PlayStation 4 or something like that. So that's it. That's a really really good point too. So all right, guys. So looks like the verdict is in about the NX. Let's go ahead and move on to one of our last two topics we got here. So all right. So there's a lot of games coming out this fall, and there's always shooters. We got COD this year. We got Battlefield. We got Titanfall. We got Gears. You can throw that in there also too. So which one do you guys think will take the shooter crown? Now I'm not speaking of sales, sales or numbers, but just as far as like popularity. We know COD has a really good fan base. COD's gonna do what it's gonna do. That's not going
Mhm.
anywhere. It's already ingrained in people's hair, in people's genes to play COD and the kids nowadays. And it's Battlefield, who's kind of the kid that like from high school the kid from junior high that was all like skinny. You saw him like, oh look at this nerd. He gets to high school and he's like 250, 6'3". So that's kind of what Battlefield is now. Then Titanfall, is we already know as Xbox fans what Titanfall is, and we've seen its potential. So we're all excited about that. And Gears is Gears also too. So I want to go ahead and start with you, Brutal, on this one. What do you think is gonna be like to take the mind share as far as shooters this fall?
Like, to be honest, man, as much as I don't want to say it, COD had just like you said, man, it's ingrained in the community, man. Like people want COD, people are gonna buy COD regardless of what it is. Like, uh, I wish, I pray that Titanfall could take hold like it deserves. Like every time I play Titanfall, I'm like, God, this game is so much fun, man. And like it can like from what I've seen, Titanfall 2 is only getting better from the original. Like I wish I could see the community and the sheer mayhem that COD creates in the community. I wish I could see that, but with Titanfall, man, because Titanfall is awesome. It has the potential there. It has the platform to be a great shooter. The whole Titan mechs side of it adds an entire other aspect to your normal shooters. And I was kind of thinking about this today while I was driving that there's the the industry has created this mold for shooters, and it's hard to break that mold and to be innovative and not
Yeah.
lose your fan base. Like
Mhm.
it,
Yep.
and when people push the envelope too far, people start shying away from it because they're like, that's not what I'm used to. I don't like that. I mean, like, give me one reason why Titanfall didn't succeed. Like the multiplayer, campaign single player aside, just from the multiplayer aspect, because let's be honest,
There's none.
That's what FPSs are for.
Yeah, there's really no reason why. I
Like,
mean, honestly, it's still. We played it the other day, like GKB a couple days ago with on Matt's game night, and the game is still the most till this day the most fluid
Mhm.
shooter I've probably ever played, probably even including Halo, as far as like just tight controls, the fluidity between the environments, the different, the way you move around the map. It does. I think it suffered from not having enough like variety as far as like weapons and lack of things like that. Maybe a bunch
Mhm.
of different like 10 different Titans, things like that. But game modes too when it came out, they kind of lacked a few game modes that were kind of like people were used to, like a big team type game mode, stuff like that. But there's really no reason. I'm all aboard with you on that one, Brutal. I feel like it should get and let's be honest, because it was exclusive too. So
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
but
part of the reason.
looking at this, like, ask yourself this point though too, like. It was a IP. It was a new IP when it came out, and I mean that game provided a lot of not I don't want to say like cutting edge and like innovative and like mold breaking gameplay, um, but it went against the grain for what was coming out when that game came out.
Yeah.
And and for a new IP to do that well, like I'm drooling for Titanfall 2 to come out, because I have a feeling that they learned from the first one. They took the time needed to put together a really good follow up to it, and I just cannot wait to see what they come out with as a whole. I want to see the game as a whole, not a brief demo, not word of mouth for people that got to play it at E3. Like, I want to see it myself. Let it sink into the community and see where it goes when it releases.
Definitely, definitely. Okay, good points, good points. What about you, Fred?
I think Call of Duty is going to be the one that's going to take the crown, just because, and let me preface this by saying I don't think it's going to be the space version of Call of Duty. I think it's going to be the Modern Warfare DLC, backwards, whatever the hell it is, the remaster they have coming out is going to be like really, really popular. But to get that, you have to buy the game. So, but I think a lot of people are going to kind of go towards that version of the game, the remaster, versus the actual was it Call of Duty 5 now we're on. So, and plus, like, a lot of people like that game because it's easy to pick up and play and just run and gun and get in and out, and like I guess I don't want to say less mature gamers, but let's just say younger gamers like that. They like Call of Duty. They gravitate toward that game, and a lot of people don't know Titanfall unless you're like an Xbox guy. Like a lot of PlayStation guys, they want to play it, of course, because they didn't have it. But when they get the Titanfall 2, they're gonna buy that game as well. But it's all about again, it's all about content. How we were talking earlier about what they're gonna bring to the table. Now Battlefield, I think for that shooter, you have to have a specific want to play that game because it's really open world. It's not like you can't just. It's not linear. It's like Call of Duty is. So, a lot of people will see those huge maps and get intimidated and not want to play it at all. But Call of Duty, you can get in your little creases, you can do what you got to do, and and play the game, in a specific way. That you can't play some of these other games. Like you can't play Titanfall that way. You can get on ledges and hang out and stuff like that. You can get into a bunker. You can go, and do certain things in Battlefield and in Titanfall that you can't do it in Call of Duty. And like I said, like the younger generation, they like that. They like to just get in the game, run and gun, and have fun with that kind of stuff. Whereas me and some of the older gamers I play with, like we like a little bit more strategy when it comes to shooters. But I think because it's got like a huge fan base already, people are gonna buy that game. Like my stepson's already asked me to get it.
Yeah, my son too.
So
he almost got an elbow to the nose.
I mean he'll want to play. He'll want to play Battlefield, but he's not gonna want to continue to play it. If that makes any sense. He'll play it for like a few weeks, but he's always gonna go back to Call of Duty.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. Good point. You can't underestimate the old. My son is big into this, the whole like trick shotting community and quick scoping, all of that stuff. Like that's really, really huge on like
360 no scope.
Yeah, you can't do that in Titanfall and in Battlefield, unfortunately. So like that just appeals.
Bless him, dude, because I suck at Twitch shooting. I'm terrible like Twitch scoping and like no scoping and stuff. Like
really, really good, but I cringe when I see him doing it. I'm like, that's not how you play. Like, what are you doing? Like, I cringe. He's so good at it. I mean, it works for him, but
does he like Rainbow Six? Like a really strategic game like that?
No, he'll play, but he'd put that thing down in 2 minutes. He'd be like, "Yeah, Dad, I'm cool. Let me just get back on this Black Ops."
Yeah, and it's funny because when you play games like that, like I get into parties and stuff with people like Rainbow Six and like old school Ghost Recon games, and like when I've had younger players play that game, they can't do the stuff they were doing in Call of Duty. They will get fucking massacred. Trying to just run out and get. You have to be patient in games like that. And younger generations, they just want to run out there and just get their kill streak going and glitch it. And it's like. Yeah. You can't really grasp the ideal of like, hey, dude, you can't just run out in the open like that. You have to use cover and concealment, But I mean, I think like again, like the younger generation loves that shit, so they're gonna levitate to that shit because it's easy, and all their friends are playing it too. So
and COD is like it's ingrained in people's DNA at this point, man. As far as like just shooters in general, so it's I mean, we talk about COD, but it's influenced just about every shooter that's come out since it since it got big. Like it's
Yeah,
had
you
some.
know, like we have our generation of games that we played, like
Yeah,
Zeldas and Mario's and stuff like that.
yeah,
This is their generational game.
yeah.
Hmm.
Pretty much, pretty much. So GKB, what do you think, man? Who's taking the crown this fall, brother?
Man, like I was listening to your guys' points and what everybody was saying, and I have to like this question is really tough, man, because you have like four potential good shooters here, but they identify to different player bases, throughout all gaming. Um, I don't think, as much as I'd love Gears and everything like that, I don't think that's going to be the number one shooter on everybody's
Yeah,
list.
no, I don't.
I kind of agree with a lot of you guys as far as like, COD, just saying the word COD, is, the media is going to blow this up out of proportion. Activision is going to come out and say they sold millions upon millions upon millions. And by default, it's probably going to win the shooter crown, so to speak. But I think, honestly, as like the gamers in general, I really like to think that it's going to be between either Titanfall 2 or Battlefield 1. I think this year Battlefield 1 has the most potential it's ever had to pull a lot of those COD players into that game, due to the World War I aspect, and just the multiplayer that we've seen so far just looks fantastic. It looks like it's going to play really well. But that
Let's
being
hope.
said, like, yeah, let's hope. We haven't played it yet, but
Yeah.
that being said, though, Titanfall 2 and Titanfall 1 is made by, the original Infinity Ward guys. They've made COD what it is today. So I think the pedigree is there. I think the gameplay mechanics there. I think it's more an innovative game than the other shooters, all around, just with the mechs, and they've really like stepped it up. They just added more, and that was kind of like what I was scared of with like Titanfall 2 when it comes out. I was like, I hope they don't go too far one way or the other. I really like what Titanfall 1 was. I just want them to build upon that, and it looks like they did that. So I really, really hope that it's Titanfall 2. We will see.
Good points. Good points. Good points. All right. So yeah, I mean, my opinion, like I said, is just uh, you guys have all made great points, and they're all like pretty much going to be 100% accurate, just due to the fact of what we already know, about the way these games work and about new IPs. Like Titanfall 2 being exclusive, I guess in a way kind of hindered it. As far as like having access to both player fan bases rather than just one. But it's in my opinion, it's a more polished game at this
I
point.
agree.
Battlefield
That
1
being
is
said, too, Blam,
yeah,
it also sold like 10 million copies over its lifetime so far. So I mean, that's pretty
yes,
good for
that's
you know
pretty damn
being
good,
limited.
man, for a new IP. Yeah, being limited, so that's awesome. Also Battlefield, like he said, I really feel like this is the best opportunity that Dice has had to make a dent in that COD market. Because the feedback just from Battlefield 1 was like overwhelmingly amazing.
Hmm.
Compared to like what the feedback from that Infinite Warfare trailer or whatever the case may be to reveal. So I think people really want to go back to boots on the ground. There's a lot of old COD players and people that really grew up with the good CODs, Modern Warfare 1 and Modern Warfare 2, and Black Ops, and they really want that feel again. So Battlefield 1 has an amazing opportunity. Let's just hope that the game doesn't like sputter over itself with like the launch, or the game comes out and you can't get in a match or something crazy, because that game's very ambitious too. 64, that's a lot of goddamn players,
Yeah,
and it's
For
gonna be,
sure.
but these
it's
servers
gonna
are
be
gonna be,
game night.
yeah, the servers are gonna be bum run. So let's hope the game launches well and it comes out and it works well. Is there gonna be a beta for that Battlefield 1?
Yeah,
Yeah, there is a beta, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
They're at least going to do that. So at least hopefully they stress test the hell out of the game before they release it. But
You
yeah,
know what?
COD is. Go ahead.
I'm glad you said that too, because like there's some negatives and positives to picking out each one of these that like
Yeah.
that everyone has. I don't think we even mentioned this at all. All those games come out right around the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
within a couple weeks of each other.
Yeah,
Like 3 weeks.
so
I think it's like a 3 week span that
yeah,
they come
with
out.
the exception of maybe Gears, I think maybe that comes out
Yeah.
like in November. But like for the most part, they all come out like relatively close to each other. So that works against Titanfall.
Yeah.
Because it's the new kid on the block. As far as Call of Duty goes, its popularity is going to make it sell because everybody's played it and everyone knows what they're getting out of it. And plus, you're getting that, the remaster. As far as Battlefield goes, they didn't really launch very well with Battlefield 4.
4. Yeah, that's
They
what
had
I
a
mean by
shitty launch.
hopefully, because Battlefield 4 is an amazing game now.
Yeah.
But when
But
it launched,
it took a while to get
it
that
took a
way.
while to get to that point. So that's what I meant by let's hope they don't sputter over their own feet, because Battlefield 4 was great, but those games they have a history of kind of sputtering out the gate as far as server issues and all these types of different things that are like technical issues. So let's hope it comes out well and people can get in the matches and
Real
actually
quick, Blame.
play. Go ahead.
I want to touch on like what Predator was saying there, like the whole 3 week thing, like
Uh-huh.
and the balls that EA has and Respawn have to release that game in between Battlefield 1 and then Call of Duty right after that. I mean, just the cojones these guys got right now. And like they've even come out and said, you know what, we're going to be the best shooter. We don't care what the hell is coming out. So, I mean, that speaks, volumes to me as a
Yeah.
gamer. I'm like, they're that confident in their game and they don't give a shit where they're going to be. We're going to be like right in the middle and we're still going to do well.
And
That's pretty awesome, man.
and
Another
like
thing.
go ahead, Brutal. Go ahead, Brutal.
Oh, go ahead, man. I just got one last thought to
Well,
add to the conversation.
yeah, we were talking about the fact that Titanfall 2 suffered from being possibly suffered from being like exclusive to a point, but it also benefited because we know the experiences we're getting from Battlefield. We know what we're getting on we're hoping what we're getting from Battlefield 1, but we kind of know how Battlefield plays, how it works.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of know how COD plays and how it works. This Titanfall 2, there's a whole group of gamers,
Don't know
PlayStation
nothing.
gamers, that have no idea, if you don't own an Xbox, how that game works. There's a big demographic that they've created a demand for that game. As far as that could help offset the fact that it wasn't on PlayStation 4, it wasn't a multi-pack to begin with, because people are gonna say, man, I heard about it, my friend has it, I saw him playing it, but I really really want to maybe test this out for myself and really see if it's what he was saying it is or what I thought it was, or it creates an interest. Whereas we know kind of where Battlefield's going, we kind of know where COD's going. So I just kind of wanted to throw that point in there. Go ahead, Brutal. I know you had something to say.
I think he dropped out, man.
Yeah, he did.
Brutal dropped out again. Uh-oh, that internet, man. All right.
He's like, fuck you for not letting me talk.
Yeah. No. He'll probably jump back in here in a minute. So, okay. So last point here. I know we're fresh off of the E3 hype, and that's kind of we're in the aftermath of the E3 hype and everything that went on with E3. So I don't really want to touch on this too much, but I kind of want to get you guys' opinions on Gamescom, since it is coming up and it is the next big video game convention, so to speak. And maybe just what we'll see there. Just touch on it real quick about some things you may want to see there. Anything Microsoft or Sony's been holding back possibly, or is Sony going to actually be there this year? I'm not sure. They'll probably make an announcement here pretty soon. But we'll start with you, Fred. What do you think, just real quick, about Gamescom?
Any game you saw at E3, you'll see at Gamescom, and I think you'll definitely see a lot of the Slim there. Some of the games that they've talked about in the past, like maybe we'll get some Crackdown stuff, Scalebound. I think they did this last year, and I don't know if they did it at their own event or maybe they did it at Gamescom, where all the games they didn't show at E3, they showed at Gamescom. They kind of highlighted those games, so all the games that we didn't see, like Crackdown, what did I say about Scalebound, and maybe they announced a couple of games that we've not heard of, because we kind of expected to hear some stuff at E3, but I think it was just so jam-packed with stuff that they kind of said, okay, let's hold this out a little bit. So I've heard some rumblings. I won't go into the rumors and stuff like that on here, but some other games that I've heard about that may be in development now, we may see at Gamescom this year.
Okay, you think Sony's coming this year?
No.
No? Okay. No. All right. So it's on you, GKB. What do you think, man? Gamescom.
I think Sony's either already said, or the heavy rumor right now is that they're not going to be at Gamescom again this year, which is kind of, I don't know why they're not going, because I mean it's like one of those.
I think they're the Tokyo Game Show. Isn't that like?
Yeah, I think that's going to be their big show, because I think they're going to be showing off the Neo and stuff like that possibly, but. Yeah, so as far as them, they're not probably going to be there, so we won't see anything from them. I think a lot of what Xbox is going to be showing is very similar to E3. I'm hoping we see, some Crackdown, but that might be unlikely. I think they're going to push, the Slim very hard over there, to help try and get that, some more sales and stuff for them over there. I don't know if we're really going to see any new stuff, honestly. I think it's going to be a lot of the same.
Well, good point. I think that's a fair assessment. So, Bruto, you there? Bruto,
Yeah,
back?
I'm here,
Okay.
man. Sorry,
So,
my internet keeps
oh,
dropping out tonight,
it's
bro.
all
I don't
right,
know what's
brother.
going on with it.
It's all right. So, this week we were kind of just wanted to touch on Gamescom real quick. We kind of just went over maybe what we'll see, what we won't see, who's going to be there possibly. I just want to get your opinion on real quick about Gamescom, what you think.
Uh, I hate to go along with the rest of the crowd, man, but I just don't. I think if there's anything that's gonna, I don't see how they're able to like hide anything from from social media and from the people that pry through just every report that comes out that shouldn't be seen by the public that ends up leaking out anyways. Like the state of like where we're at, man. Like if we see anything, it's gonna be limited content compared to what or limited new content compared to what we saw at E3. Unfortunately, like as much as I want to say like it's going to be a big show that we can all look forward to, one thing that I would like to see though, and I don't know if they will or not. I'm really interested in seeing Paragon. Like Paragon looks super interesting to me, and I'd like to see Paragon come to Xbox. Maybe they could um, reveal that it is going multi-platform. Paragon has my interest, but I would like to see that, but other than that, man, I don't really see anything too much. It's gonna just really blow the socks off anybody.
All right, so that's a good point. I kind of I'm thinking along the same line as you guys. They actually, if you remember back last year, they stressed the fact even before E3 that they were going to be pushing some things back to Gamescom. So this year that wasn't the case. They didn't even say, okay, well we're going to be holding some things off. Like they
Yeah.
really stressed that. Like even right after E3, they're like, wait, we know there were some things, but we're saving those things specifically for Gamescom. This year there was really no talk about like pushing anything back or any hints about anything being that wasn't seen being shown at Gamescom. Now, like you guys said, or like Predator said, we may get a few small announcements, maybe a release date or two. I don't know, something like that. But I'm assuming they're going to push that S quite a bit, because of that $299 price point and smaller console. It's more competitive in those like European where they're getting killed by Sony, across the water. So I think that's really going to be their big focus is just trying to strengthen the brand overseas. So I think that's really going to be what they're focusing on here for Gamescom. I'd be surprised if we get like one big announcement at Gamescom, like some game or something that we didn't know. Or
Real quick too, Blaine.
Yeah.
Is I want to like kind of like I don't know, like say this a little bit better than I don't want to say like Sony's not going to be there because I think they're going to be on the floor showing like some games. What I mean by like them not being there, they're not going to have like a keynote speech kind of, like the whole conference type thing. So I want to preface that.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's a good point. Yeah. I don't even know if Microsoft's going to have like a keynote or anything. They haven't mentioned it. We'll know. I'm pretty sure soon. But yeah, I think it's kind of we all have the same idea about Gamescom. So that's kind of how I figured it would go down. So it looks like we're closing down on the end of the show, everybody. I'm going to take two questions. So if you got a question, go ahead and throw it in the chat. Right now, we're just going to take two. You know me, I don't like to run ultra long. People got stuff to do. I know, GKB and She-Wolf got their game night coming up. Was it Forza Horizon 2 tonight, I believe?
Yeah, man. It's going to be Forza.
Okay. Forza Horizon 2. So you guys tune into that after the show. I'm pretty sure he'll put it up there on Twitter and let you guys know what's going on. But let me go ahead and take a couple questions here for the panel. So, okay. So She-Wolf, shout out to She-Wolf, the unofficial secretary for every podcast on Twitter. Shout out, lady. So she asked a question about how does the panel feel about We Happy Few coming to Xbox preview. So I'll go ahead and let GKB. I'll go ahead and let you touch on that one, brother.
Oh man, I'm so excited for this game. Like at last E3, like when we first like saw We Happy Few, kind of didn't really know what's going on. It looked just kind of like this creepy, weird kind of game, but they really put a big focus on it on this E3, and it was just fantastic, man. It just has this great like. I don't want to like compare it to these kind of games, but it's very like BioShock-esque in its feel, and that just speaks volumes to me. just like when he's sitting there like hitting this pinata and it turns out to be like this rat and they're like all chomping on it. I'm just like,
Yeah.
what's going on right now? This is amazing.
Yeah, it's that like false utopia, like
Yeah.
they're
on that drug or whatever.
Creep. Yeah, what's it called?
Joy, I think it is.
Yeah,
Joy.
don't forget to take your joy or something like that. Yeah. Like I was reading a little bit about We Happy Few, and they have a lot of cool little like Easter eggs that they're dropping into that game. There's like little parts of like a TV series, but you can only catch the pieces of the TV series at certain points. So like if you die, if you die, you'll miss that portion of the TV series that they play throughout the game. But
Interesting.
they play like a replay of the same series, so you get 2 chances. But if you die both times, you're not gonna get to. It's kind of I think it's partially like an achievement that you can get for watching all of them, but it's entirely dependent on you dying or not. So I think the aspect of having an achievement that you can't get if you don't play the game very well is really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's a cool aspect. Okay, cool. Fred, you got anything to say about We Happy Few before I move on to this last question?
I've heard, it's not the game we probably think it's gonna be, because I think we keep comparing it to BioShock and stuff like that, and I think you sense that from looking at it, but like when the gameplay footage that this particular person, whose name I won't say, saw the game, is like it's not, the game that you're probably expecting it to be. So I'm gonna wait and see the gameplay footage. But I think the preview for it comes out this week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe it's the 28th-ish.
Yeah, so I mean, I want to see some gameplay and actual real gameplay, not what we saw in there, before I start making assumptions about how good or bad the game's going to be. But for some reason, every time I hear and I watch that clip or whatever, it's like, you're a downer. I think of Jeremy Downer.
Same here, bro.
Shout out to Jeremy, man. Downer for life. But no, for sure. But okay. All right, cool. Let's go into the last time. Anybody see any good question in the chat?
Can I say one last thing about We Happy Few before we move on?
Go ahead.
I hope that when this game does launch, because I've seen this in a couple games that have released recently that we won't go into, but BLAM, you and I were talking about it a little bit in GKB. This idea, like, this game's not being released as a AAA title, right? And I think that when people receive these games, that's the mindset that they're getting, like when they go into it.
Like Mighty Number 9, for instance.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to open that can of worms, but that's exactly what I was talking about. But like, I don't want to see people, like, I hope people take it for what it's worth and judge it as what it's supposed to be, rather than comparing it to something that it's not even trying to be in the first place.
A lot of us say this too, like, all the time, like, and I say it a lot, man. It's like, keep your expectations in check, guys. Like, don't like get into that whole like hype thing,
Well, get hyped for it, but get hyped for what it is. Like,
well, yeah.
I'm a big indie fan, and I go into an indie game, and I'm like, shit, this game is fucking awesome, man. But I'm not comparing it to the blockbusters that are coming out. I'm comparing it for what it is. It's its own content, rather than like compare apples to apples.
It's like playing like IDARB, comparing it to like NBA 2K or something. Like, it's not the same kind of game, people. Like, just because you putting the ball in the hole doesn't mean you can go, this is nothing on 2K. No, it's just no, just serious.
I think this generation we've had some really good indies, and we had some really shitty indies too.
Yeah.
Like
same with AAAs too, man. Like, we've had some really good ones and some really shitty ones.
Yeah. And like, you see a game like Ori, and you're like, oh fuck, man, this is an indie, in a sense, if you want to look at it that way. But it's not like a major, huge IP. But that game was amazing to me. And then you see some of these other games, and you have these huge expectations because you played a good indie, and you see this next indie pop up, and it ends up being shitty as fuck, and you're like, what the fuck did I just play, So like GKB said, man, just tame yourself a little bit, go in and not expect anything, and maybe you'll have more fun with it,
Good point, fellas. Good point. All right, so last question. You guys see anything good in the chat that we could just throw in here as a last topic? Just go ahead. If you see something, just go ahead and
Well, there's prices about Slim's question. There's
Oh, just whatever you see, G.
All right. Well, Busta has a question here. He's like, do you think if the Xbox S only releases with a 2 terabyte at $399, then releases with a 500 gigabyte at $249 version later, will hurt sales? I think they should have all the hard drives options available day one.
No.
No. Yeah, I'm gonna say no.
Look at Amazon right now, and you see what's flying off the shelves right now at Amazon. I think it's like in the top 20 or 25. But I would say for myself, if I had the option to get the $299 version day one, I would have gone that route. But I did pre-order mine with the 2 terabyte because I've already got an external, So
Right.
I think I would have taken that option if it was available to me. But it's not that far back where if I just wasn't as an impatient motherfucker as I am, that I couldn't just wait a couple more weeks to get, Because if I'm not mistaken, it's still kind of cloudy right now, but I think the 2 terabyte version releases early August, and
Yeah, the other one's like towards the end.
the other one's like just several weeks later, like near the end of August. So I could wait and save me a couple $100 or $100, whatever. But I'm not waiting. I just want to get it in my hands, and just get it all set up. But I don't think it's gonna affect sales as much, especially once you get into the holiday season. It will probably help it more because they're both already out and you have an option.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's like, what Microsoft is kind of, what they're doing now is like they want to give everybody options. Like they want to give you everything that you can possibly want, and they have a SKU for you. For me, like I'm going just about like all digital these days, so the 2 terabyte option is definitely the one I want to go with, just to have that extra room for all the digital content I get. But if the people that just want to get in on the cheapest price, they have the 500 gig. Maybe they don't play a lot of games. Maybe they're more of a casual type person.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes to them. Or maybe they want the 500 one because they want the 4K Blu-ray player, which is going to be the cheapest on the market right now. So I mean, it's just all about options, man.
Yeah, pretty much. Go ahead, Brutal.
I was just going to say, I think that the 500 one is going to really appeal to people that are definitely planning on getting the Scorpio, but they still want to get the Slim. Maybe they want to
save the money,
spend all the money on the 2 terabyte when they know that that's not going to be their console within the next year or so. Yeah. So I think that's going to be a big selling point for those type of people.
And honestly, for me, I think you got to look at it this way too. I think I don't know if this is going to happen, but purchasing that 500 gig one is not a bad option because there may be some kind of a trade-in credit that you can get for your original, like just for your Xbox, to maybe go towards the 500. I know they haven't announced it or anything saying out about it, but it's not a bad idea. It's only $300. You may be able to get $150 off for trading in your regular Xbox one. So, and then that's actually a pretty decent upgrade over what you currently have. Just all things considered, and then you wait till next fall. Whenever the Scorpio comes out, whatever name it's going to be comes out, then you put money into that if that's what you really want. But like Paul said or GKB said, it's just options. It's more options for more people. You have something for everybody. It's like a buffet. Not everybody eats chicken. There's beef. Not everybody eats lasagna. There's pizza. Whatever the case may be. So there's just options for more people, and you can't really go wrong with that. So I don't really think it's gonna affect sales. And if they only had a 500 gig option, that may be an issue for some people. But because they don't, they have all these different SKUs, and there's really not going to be a problem. If you don't want that one, you always have another choice. So I really feel that way about that. So, all right, looks like everybody, we're all done with the show here. We're going to go ahead and get this wrapped up. We appreciate everybody coming out. We had a good crowd in here. Appreciate you guys rocking out with me every Saturday evening, every Saturday afternoon. I just want to go ahead and say I appreciate the panel, everybody coming out, rocking out with us. Just go ahead and let you guys know next week, going to be just let you guys know ahead of time next week, Child Podcast will resume also, too. I'm not going to skip a week. Just real excited. Got a lot of momentum going on here. Got a lot of plans and ideas. Since my schedule is changing, I can do more now. So I'm really, really hyped and excited about that. But go ahead and go around the panel, everybody. You guys let everybody know where they can find you. We'll start with you, Brutal.
Yeah, man. Same name on Twitter, YouTube. Yeah, man. It's that's basically. I got to give a quick shout out to, of course, the Graphic God for the all the amazing artwork, and I'll be on Console Corner on Tuesday, and that's about it, man.
All right, for sure. Where can everybody find you, Pred?
You can find me right here. I'm the unofficial member of the Shop Podcast, and
Stop that shit.
catch me here on Saturday. I have my own channel, Xbox After Party. I do random content. I did a video this past Thursday that's out. So make sure you guys follow my channel. I'm trying to get my subs up before my unfortunate little 6-month hiatus to the Middle East. So make sure you guys follow me and check me out in the shop. And I'm on everybody else's podcast. I'm in, not in their podcast, but at least in their chat, should I say. So, whether it's Mooch or Crap or, the Console Corner, I'm in everybody's chat, just, talking with the gamers. And I will not be on the gameplay tonight since I don't own the game, but I typically am playing with everybody else on Saturdays as well.
Absolutely.
For sure. So my right-hand man, go ahead and shout yourself out, brother.
All right, what's up, everybody? I'm GKB, or the Governor, as everybody's knowing me on Twitter now. I always love being on the Shop Podcast, man. It's always a great show, always a great panel of gamers. I want to shout out She-Wolf. She's part of the Console Corner. Brutal will be on the show. He's also doing a cool segment that I hope everybody likes. We're doing a lot of changes on Tuesday, adding a whole bunch of stuff, to the show, as we always do. We want to give, everybody just a great production value to come check us out. We'll be on Xbox Nation on Wednesday, 8 o'clock with Crap and the crew. That's a pretty hilarious time. Then back on the shop. Then game night. Please come out and rock out with us here in a few minutes. We're going to play Forza Horizon 2. It's going to be a blast, as it always is. We love you guys. The community's fantastic. We'll see you next time.
For sure. All right, everybody. We out of here. Like I said before, follow me, PTK BLAM, on Twitter. Hit me up on Xbox. Add me on Xbox. Also, follow me here on YouTube at PTK BLAM. I appreciate the love and support. You guys being patient with me in my hectic and chaotic schedule. I can't always put out videos when I say I am, and I do apologize for that, but I do my best to provide content to the channel, and I will be upping my production value also, too, with the help of that man, GKB, giving me some tips. I'm kind of becoming a Padawan, in Star Wars. With the whole production and graphics and things like that. But I appreciate you guys. You guys show love. Channel's growing. Super happy with everything that's going on. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take it easy. And as GKB would say,
take care of your fellow gamers.
That took like the last little bit of energy you had. I know it.
I'm trying to rock it.
He's gonna pass out right after. All right, everybody. Y'all have a good one, and thank you guys for coming out, man. Take it easy.
Thanks,
right,
man.
See ya.
Yep.